Fix this for me. Today I want to talk about self-betrayal. And I want to talk about it because it is something that not only is so normalized, something that we're so used to, something that feels natural to us to do, it is something that is actively praised by this default culture. When we aggrandize other over ourselves, that is self-betrayal. And I want to bring this to the forefront of our consciousness so that we are able to recognize when we do it. It is a process of undoing and unlearning and building trust within ourselves. I am absolutely in this process myself. I have not gotten to the other side of this deeply embedded pattern. It is something I have become more aware of as of late, which is why I'm making this video on it. It is so incredibly important that we're able to identify when we are betraying ourselves. Let me get my notebook. Self-betrayal is often praised as strength, loyalty, attractiveness, and is often the sole cause of bitterness in women. Not the sole cause, sorry. The root cause of bitterness, the negative cycles and patterns that we find ourselves in are the way they are because we are giving our power to them. We have to reclaim our ashe. We have to take our ashe back. And we have to reaffirm what is good for us, what is actually good for us. But it is a process of recognizing, cutting it off, and then replacing it with something else. It's like gardening. It's constant gardening. And a lot of us, especially us melanated women, we do not fully embody our ori. We do not fully embody our spiritual self. I kind of imagine it as like our spiritual selves are up here. And because we are tense, because we have certain other beliefs, because our gardens have too many weeds in them, we do not have the full access to our full power, our full spiritual power, the full power of our minds, etc., minds, heart, energy, intelligence. It's kind of floating above us. And what we have to consciously do is bring down that balloon of our spiritual energy and seed it into our physical bodies, seed it into this material world. But so many of us are tense with fear, tense with overwork, tense with aggrandizing other, focusing on aggrandizing other, and running on such little energy, giving so much output, and leaving ourselves with nothing, leaving ourselves with crumbs and giving feasts to other. Our spiritual energy doesn't actually get to fully inhabit our bodies. This is the reason why I'm bringing up self-betrayal, because when we are so busy doing this, when we are so busy giving our essential life force energy to other, and we only do this because we have been damaged with this idea, with this Western idea of self and other, rather than self mirrored. The reason you're watching this video is because I'm a mirror of you and you are a mirror of me. And I'm just a symbol of you, giving you some information that you probably already know, but it feels good to have that information validated. I'm saying things that resonate with you because you already have this knowledge. And I'm saying this to you now to strengthen that knowledge within you so that you can go ahead and do what you need to do in this material world. And I want to give you the tools to be able to do that, to be able to call down your spirit into your body fully so that you can do your destiny, essentially, what you came here to do. And I guess I'll mention what destiny is from an African perspective, because a lot of Western people define destiny as something unavoidable, as something that must happen, that it is written in the books that it must happen. And it's not so static as that. Your destiny is a combination of things, but it is essentially an energy that needs to be fulfilled. Your destiny is held in your ori, and in order to live your destiny, you have to fully embody what that ori is, what your true essential self is. You have to fully embody that. And when you fully embody your ori, you will have no choice but to enact your destiny, but to take action in your destiny. But the very first thing we have to do is make sure we can call down that spirit first. So that's the first thing I want to mention. Let's talk about what self-betrayal looks like. I don't even know how to begin to really talk about this, because aggrandizing other, giving power to other over self, again, is this paradigm that is Western thought, which is the Western reality of separateness, of I am this individual universe and I am separate from everything else. It is like this entity here is separate from everything else. And so we live in this paradigm, if you grew up in this default Western reality, is that the basis of that Western reality is domination. Domination is deeply embedded, deeply coded in the Western reality. Domination is actually the theme. And it says, dominate or be dominated. What ends up happening is that in order for us to feel safe, we have to cater to all ideas, all people who represent the idea of the dominating force in the world. We have to give our ashe, our work to this dominating, pervasive force. There is this illusion that we are going to be safe if we do that. Let me pacify the dominator so that this dominator doesn't hurt me. And in this process of seeking safety, we're giving offerings, we're giving ashe to the dominator in exchange for our safety. And some people do this their entire lives without even realizing it. Now that we have access to so many different realities of thought, although on social media there's definitely a bias, even in the example of the beauty Olympics, the hierarchy of beauty, right, is the same model of dominate or be dominated. Look better than others, look better than her. Beauty then isn't for our own pleasure. It then becomes a game of domination. And I think many of us have been subscribing to that model of reality passively, if not actively. And so creating beauty for our own pleasure, creating beauty within ourselves the way we want it, rather than the self-betrayal of choosing certain aesthetics for safety, for the appeasement of our oppressors. That is self-betrayal. It is a fear of our oppressor. If we are not pleasing our oppressor with the oppressor's standard of beauty, then we are nothing. And listen, I understand the need for survival. But what I also want to highlight is self-betrayal for survival. That is what I want to shine a light on. Self-betrayal for survival. And we will use Western logic, Western rationality to justify our self-betrayal for survival. We betray ourselves in the name of survival when there are other options. There are opportunities if we look for them. There are ways to inch our way further and deeper into integrity. If we are so busy justifying self-betrayal, then we are not ever fully going to understand the sweetness, the fullness, and the satisfaction of living in alignment with our true authentic selves. If we are busy justifying self-harm, we are not going to truly feel the aliveness and the fullness of our ashe. Why would you think that it's okay to insult yourself on a daily basis? And this is all stuff you know. You know it's not good to talk to yourself the way that you talk to yourself. You know it's not good to feed yourself the way you feed yourself because you already have that good sense. You already have the good sense to know what is right and wrong. But what you don't know, or what you forget, is that you deserve the same treatment as the other that you aggrandize. Nobody is more beautiful than you. And that is not, you are the most beautiful in the world. Again, that is that dominating, dominator, oppressor paradigm that we are trying to get away from. No one is more beautiful than you because we are all different faces of the same one thing. And the only thing you really have to focus on is bringing in the energy of your divine self and fully embodying that spiritual being in this body. So many of us are floating above our bodies because of trauma, because trauma has made it unsafe for us to fully experience the fullness of who we are. The trauma that is inflicted upon us is intentionally there to cut us off from our power. It's a catch-22 because if we are not fully embodied in our energy, we're gonna be scared. It is actually experiencing the fullness of who we are that makes us feel the safest, that makes us feel the most secure because we have all of our power. See, we get insecure because we don't have our full power. That insecurity is there because we know we only have this much of the power that we are capable of having. That's what insecurity is. Insecurity is, I feel like I have this much power. So what we have to do is, in the morning, we have to call our spirit into our bodies. Starting your day with recognizing yourself in your ori is what helps us to embody the fullness of our power. Self-betrayal is living in a reality where you have no power, where your power is constantly diminished. All of the sense you need, the answer to all of your questions will come when you sow your spirit into your body. I constantly have this vision of sowing your energy into the physical. In order for the destiny of your ori to be enacted in this material world, it has to be in your body. It has to be in your body. So tap your body, get your spirit in every cell. Breathe in some oxygen, tap, remind yourself that your spirit is in here. This is the temple of my being. Hello, Cassandra's temple. This is the temple of my divine being. This is the temple of self. This is the temple that I've been given, and I will bless it with my own ashe. Okay? I think that's kind of it. Do not aggrandize other over self. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If somebody treated a human child the way you treated yourself, you would think it's wrong. That same value system that you hold for dogs, for animals, for children, needs to be upheld for yourself.